Yo, we got a video here today, and it's the real reason why guys aren't doing the CC. Why we've got a massive decrease in Oodies. Let's get right into it.
And this belief system is spreading like wildfire among men, and it has even given birth to the involuntary celibate community, or incels for short. I'm sure you've heard that term, which in turn has morphed into movements like MGTOW, which stands for men going their own way. So
They have to. They always have to link people that can't get laid, that want to get laid, to MGTOW. Even though, of course, there's guys in MGTOW that can't get it. But then there's just flat out ex-husbands. You know, people that have children, got divorced. People that are just, you know, paying for it flat out. Or they're still just dating without the marriage and cohabitation.
I actually remember the first time I heard all about MGTOW and incels. I was actually intrigued. It was a few years ago, and I was invited to a podcast by someone in the MGTOW community. And this person at the time was one of the leaders within that community. And I didn't...
There are no leaders. People will say this too, that it's a cult. It's a cult. Like, let's say hypothetically, I'm the leader. I'm the leader of said cult. This is just hypothetical. Where's the ladies at? Aren't I supposed to be just hooking up with everyone's wives? Isn't that how a cult works? Aren't you supposed to be paying me a tithe? Aren't you supposed to be putting money in my bank account? What kind of cult is it that I have to set my alarm clock? I could have just slept in right now and not put out this content, but here I am. This is the cult where people voluntarily just make content for free.
Really know what MGTOW was or who incels were. So I looked it up, or, to prep myself. And from my limited research at the time, I found it all to be very interesting. It seemed to me that this movement was about men choosing to prioritize themselves and their lives over women.
Bingo, bingo, bango. It is male first, male oriented. But it can never be viewed that way, remember? It's always just you're angry, you're bitter, you hate the ladies. It can never be phrased as, I want to see guys take the rope less. I want to see less, as they say on TikTok, sewer slides. No, of course not. It's very taboo to even be pro-male. So in order to just shut down the communities, I liked how she actually called incels communities, yet she called MGTOW movement. I mean, technically it's just an online community. It's a forum. People come in, they write comments, they do videos. Well, what's the movement? Again, they're trying to use these terminology to put you under RICO, to try to get you.
Men choosing not to chase after women and look after themselves first, which to me sounded amazing. It sounded blissful, and I loved it. Little did I know what was about to come. When I actually went onto the podcast, I was shocked and, to be honest, scared, because I discovered that this movement wasn't really about men focusing on their lives and going their own way, even though that's exactly what it seemed like, but it was far from it. These guys were angry and resentful. They were frustrated. They hated women. They had a very pessimistic view of dating and relationships. And it was...
I'll agree with that last point that she made. There is a bit of a pessimistic view. There is a bit of a cup half full or half empty. I'd say it's more of a cup half empty rather than thinking a cup half full. But that just comes with experience. Once you've traveled, once you've, dated, especially once you've traveled, in my opinion, you start realizing, oh, wait a minute, the corruption has spread further than your own Western countries. You'll be surprised that most people have a cell phone, most people have a smartphone, internet, and they can get the same propaganda.
All too much for me to handle. The comments that I got from guys after this podcast were filled with hate and anger. And even though I was genuinely scared at first, I could empathize with their situation. I know that hate and anger only comes from pain. And in this case...
Let's just get some receipts out. Come on. All these comments with hate and anger, I mean, that's just part of the internet. You have to take the good and with the bad. It's not just all going to be, sunshine and roses. Sometimes people are angry. But that's the only way it's phrased is that it's just anger and bitterness. Not like I said, I want less guys to take the rope. I want less guys kind of leaving this earth early because of a bad relationship when they're a teenager, a bad relationship when they're in college. Because I've seen it personally. I've had friends that tried it, and I've had friends that have actually succeeded. So this is a real problem, but you can't say that you're pro-male. That's just off. You can't say it.
It was the painful belief that they don't and can't have what women want these days, that they are unworthy. And the worst part is, I saw very quickly that this belief system was not exclusive to incels and the MGTOW people. More and more men are adopting this belief system. More and more men are starting to think
Yeah, more and more guys are just naturally doing it. You got married men that might be in a dead bedroom that they kind of like hanging out in these spaces. They like that camaraderie with their brethren, with their brothers.
They have no chance with beautiful women because they don't and can't have what women want. And it's so unfortunate because it's not their fault. This belief system is formed unconsciously. And although there are many things that can lead to this negative belief system, I feel the number one culprit here is the rise of online dating and social media. That's what I want to talk about for the next few minutes. The terrible effect that dating apps and social media is having on men. I feel like I'm getting preachy, but it's destroying their self-esteem and forcing them into loneliness. First,
we know that. We know that Tinder is a rigged game for guys, especially if you're average looking. And if, God forbid, if you look, below 4 out of 10 as a guy, I mean, forget about it. That's why they'll just go to Philippines or Thailand, or they'll just pay for it $500 an hour in America, or whatever the rates are. Maybe they've gone up. Maybe it's $600 now.
Let's look at how the typical dating apps are designed. Think of the most popular ones like Tinder or Bumble or Hinge or Match.com. On these apps, people are forced to judge each other based on a quick look at profile photos and a few lines of a bio. There's no other option. Women can't judge you.
And the bio, I'd say the bio isn't even read by the ladies. Sometimes when you see those snippets online of, the chick swiping left or right, they're actually quite quick. They don't even look through multiple pictures. They might just see one picture and left. And a lot of them just want to get the validation of just rejecting people online. Just they'll swipe left 90% of the time, whereas guys are swiping right 80% just to try and get some fish in the pond.
On your personality, your values and behavior, unless they meet you in real life. They have to judge you on what information is available to them. That means your photos and your bio are the ultimate difference maker. The better they are, the more matches you can get, which means the guys who are conventionally attractive, photogenic, and put a little effort into their bios, like good writers, will have the upper hand on dating apps. Now, add to that.
Yeah, good writers. Yeah. The ones that are great in their bio that just put that they're vegans and they're vegetarian, environmentalists. Yeah. Not the ones that just have a great first picture. Like I said, they're not even reading the bio half the time.
The male to female ratio on dating apps, which is completely in the favor of women. So last I checked, the male to female ratio on Tinder, the most popular app was around 9-1. Meaning for every one girl that's using Tinder, there are 9 guys on there. With this overabundance of choice and the fact that your profile photos and
a point that they never bring up, I've not actually heard many people bring this up, is the reason why it's 9-1 is because where are the ladies at? Well, for starters, they don't need to be on these dating apps, but they can go to seeking arrangements. They can be sugaring. They can just make money. They can get an allowance, $200, $300 to go watch a movie and maybe do a blow-us. Got to do something.
Bio are the only difference makers. It's obvious why the very few conventionally attractive, highly photogenic guys with decent bios get the most matches, when other guys with not as...
Why does she keep saying decent bios? It is about that picture, that photogenic. I mean, the bio is jack crap.
Photos and bios see this happen and themselves don't get any matches. They feel unattractive. They feel unworthy. They begin to believe they don't have what women value. And women only value the superficial stuff like looks, height, and money, etc. And this belief is further intensified.
End it right here. Hit the like on the way out. Was that a Freudian slip? They only like superficial stuff like height, money, cars, Bugattis. I mean, well, I guess we got to get those things. I guess we got to be we got to be material. We've got to have all this material for them to, want off us.
By social media. So we're here bombarded with pictures of hot, attractive women with tall, handsome guys who have fancy cars and big mansions and private jets and designer clothing. And the more that you're exposed to these kinds of imagery, the more you believe that women only want superficial stuff. And as your belief develops, something called the confirmation bias kicks in. So what's the confirmation bias? You've heard me talk about
I don't know, what's reality? What's just reality setting in? Real world experience? Being able to share stories that are happening in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, America, UK, Germany, Europe, Asia. Yeah, but it's confirmation bias though. Just being a realist is confirmation bias.
About it before, but in simple words, it's our brain's natural tendency to single out evidence that confirms what we've chosen to believe, even if it's not correct or factual. Meaning, if you believe women only value superficial things in a man, your brain will single out evidence to confirm it. So
she's a decent example. Like she's somewhat attractive. The main point I'm going to make here is that she's not overweight. Now, in my country, New Zealand, right? A lot of people think I'm Australian. I mean, let's just say it's Australia too, but specifically in New Zealand, people are big. We are big boned, whatever you want to say, curvy, plus size. I mean, we use all these stupid words for saying we're overweight. We are out of shape. And bottom line is the juice is not worth the squeeze. When the market is flooded with rotund individuals, you start thinking, I'm putting in more work for a product that is not as good as it was in the 90s. Not as good as it was even 10 years ago.
If you believe that you're doomed and there's no point in dating, your brain will show you evidence to confirm that. For example, you might start noticing other men complain about their experiences with women, sharing horror stories about rejection, friend zoning, cheating, etc., and blaming women for being superficial. You might also look at your own life experiences and single out moments.
Are we supposed to ignore that? If you're experiencing that and then you hear someone in Finland tell an identical story, we're supposed to ignore those things. We're supposed to look past it. When you see your brother or uncle get divorced and get fleeced, living in his car, having to move back home, we just ignore all of those things, I guess.
Moments and events that confirm those beliefs. In fact, the truth is your brain will distort your experiences to match and support your beliefs no matter how incorrect those beliefs are. And this makes the beliefs stronger and stronger. But
what if they're correct? What if your reality, that is what's happening? What if that's what's happening with your friends? What if that's what's happening with your cousins over in the UK? Again, we're just supposed to ignore all of it and just keep dating, guys. Keep throwing money down the well.
Build and grow by themselves. Brain's pretty freaking awesome, right? And that's what's happening to the vast majority of men these days. Dating apps and social media give them the wrong perception of what women want, and then the confirmation bias makes that belief extremely strong to the point they feel hopeless and worthless. And this hopeless attitude and lack of...
You've got 35, 40-year-olds chubby, 5'5", and they want 6 foot plus. That's on their checkbox. So the ego is totally out of control. The westernized lady ego has not been checked for about 6 decades.
Self-worth now leads to feelings of anxiety and insecurity, which compels guys to avoid talking to women, flirting with them, asking them out, and so on. After all, what's the point, right? They know that they can't get the girl. The girl is only looking for some tall, handsome multimillionaire. So why even try? And because they don't try, they don't get. And the sexless population grows. Now look, it's true that some women do only want the superficial stuff. They might value good looks or money or height or all these things more than anything else. But
yeah, not all, just some. Just like 80%, just like 85%. Yeah, well, for those that are willing to actually enjoy finding a needle in a haystack, I guess you might. This could be the market for you.
That is a small population. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that in real life, most women primarily judge men on their personality and behavior. And that's what women are naturally wired to do. It's biological.
Yeah.
The problem is your beliefs might hold you.
Yeah, they go for your personality. What job do you work? Is that a personality question? Because you get that as a second or third question when you're on these dating apps. What do you do for a living? What's your job? Yeah, that's got lots to do with your personality.
Back from accepting that reality. Because of your beliefs, by definition, they feel completely true. So look at the belief men have about height. So many guys are totally convinced that women won't date a guy unless he's 6 feet or more. Was that really the case? Is that true? Because a study published by Rice University,
It's their first priority. They might change that height thing when they hit 30, but during their prime, when they're able to have more check boxes to tick, yeah, of course. Some of them will go up to 6'3" for crying out loud. That's like the top 2% now.
showed that 49% of women want to date a guy who's taller than them. Now, the average height of a woman is 5'4". I'm 5'2", by the way. The average height of a man is 5'8". This means if you're 5'5" or more, you're going to have a shot with the average woman. And even if you're not 5'5" or more, you still have.
You hear that, guys? 5 foot. I know it's tough if you're 5'5". I mean, I'm 6 foot. I'm 5'12". But if you're 5'5", oh well, their average is only 5'2". So you're in. You're in with the 5'2" ones. Wrong. I mean, look at that one that's married to that power lifter. She left her husband, and she's 5'2", and then she went out with that 6'4" bodybuilder guy. Yeah, of course.
Have the other 51% of the female population who are open to dating you. So let's take another belief men have about women. The belief that women only want a really rich guy. Once again, this isn't true in real life. Studies show that women are equally turned on and attracted to guys who are rich and guys who are not rich.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't care about these expert studies show, because if you're tall and got the money and you've got the jawline, of course, that's going to help. Especially on the dating apps. Purely on the dating apps, it's definitely going to help.
But show a high level of competence. Meaning, if you take a multimillionaire and a guy who's not nearly as rich, but a fairly smart and capable individual, women are equally attracted to them. Money isn't a huge difference maker. So look, the point I'm making here is a simple one. The online world...
How ridiculous is that statement? Money isn't a difference maker. It is 100% a difference maker, especially if you've got lots of it. Especially if you're real... Because once you've got lots of it, you can make, I'll just spend 10% of my money on chicks, whether I'm dating them, paying for it straight up. You can make it an expenditure now. Whereas if you haven't got that money, it could be half of your income. And that's probably too much.
The world feeds men a bunch of wrong beliefs about what women want. And these beliefs lead to feelings of worthlessness. Then those feelings of worthlessness compel men to avoid taking a chance with the women that they like, and in the end, make them lonely and resentful and sexless. And this...
But you are correct. You are taking a chance. It is a chance. You're throwing the dice on the table, and you're hoping you don't get snake eyes. Because if you get snake eyes, you might lose all of it.
Is what I call the belief crisis. And with social media and dating apps becoming more and more addictive, it's really taking over the world like a pandemic. And in my opinion, to solve the belief crisis, here's what needs to be done. First of all, men need to stop relying on the online world to meet women. Yeah, the apps are convenient and simple to use, but as we discussed,
well, that was what was going on during the last 2 years when some of these countries got locked down. It turned into online. Only. They closed down the bars. And let's be honest too, are the bars even in favor of guys? You're down there doing your little pigeon dance, doing your little jester, paying like 4 times the amount for drinks, overpriced drinks. Doesn't seem like it's very male-centric anyway, that type of surroundings, that the breeding grounds.
The way things work on those apps do not reflect what works in real life. The online world is not reality, okay? Second, if you think you have no hope...
Hot take that we've got IRL, the real world, and online. But more and more, this online is becoming the reality. It's setting the standard. It's setting the look standard. It's setting these height standards. Setting the money. What job do you do? How much do you make? I mean, people even just flat out say, how much do you make? Yeah, that's a real personality quiz.
Help with women, you need to educate yourself on what women really want. Watch more of my videos. The best way to do this is by experimenting. Put simply, go out.
What they really want, I mean, they watch a lot of that Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. They watch a lot of the serial things, but I would never suggest people go that far. But anyway, gents, we're going to leave it right there. As always, thoughts, comments, but low. And hit that like on the way out. It takes 1.5 seconds. And smash that subscribe button right now. Crush it. Boom. Bang. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.